Welcome to the McTaggart Attack Podcast. I'm Kevin McTaggart, and in this episode, I talk about how I realized that I brace for the worst in life. I start the episode wondering what the hell am I going to record today, but then I ultimately figure out what I wanted to talk about, and it's how I brace for the worst in life. So, let me know what you think of this episode by commenting on the YouTube video or emailing me, mctaggartattack@gmail.com, or finding me on social media on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram at McTaggart Attack. And let me know what you think. Do you brace for the worst? Or do you not? What do you do? How do you deal with life? What's your key to life? Do you live in the moment? Outside of the moment? Something? Let me know. I want to know. Let's have a discussion. Anyway, let's move on to the episode now. Enjoy. You ever just want to start a podcast and not really know what you wanted to talk about in the podcast? So you just thought you'd hit the record button and see what happens? That's this episode. Honestly, it's quite a few of my episodes start out with me just having the courage to hit the record button and just see what happens. And that's what I'm doing today. I'm just hitting the record button and seeing what happens. I like to be as forthcoming as possible with my audience. So today, it's just that. Just have a few things on my mind. I don't know exactly what I'll be talking about, but we'll get there. And I'll put a nice introduction on the beginning of this podcast, telling you what I talked about. And probably warning you that I'm probably not going to realize what the hell the message of today's episode was until the end. That's right. I wanted to talk today about... I've been wanting to talk about this actually for a while. Regarding anxiety. I think I've talked about this recently, but I realized last year that possibly even I've been saying way too many times in this episode, and I apologize. I realized, I think it was 2019, that I've always had issues with anxiety. I just didn't know what anxiety was. But once I found out what anxiety was, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's me constantly worrying about what's going to happen. Yep. Having panic attacks. I've had them. I've had panic attacks before. Mostly I panic at what's going to happen, you know? I think I've had most of my panic attacks at work because I'm afraid of what I'm going to get yelled at. Am I going to get fired? I'm afraid of getting fired. Or I was afraid of getting fired. I'm not really afraid of getting fired now. So I'd be happy if I was fired, to be perfectly honest with you. But in my journey of dealing with anxiety, I've been able to cope with it a lot better since I realized I had it. I did go to a therapist once, and I won't rule it out again, and she suggested the 10% Happier app, which is great because I read the book and loved the book, so I've subscribed to the app, and it's been very helpful with meditation and stuff like that. And there are courses that are very helpful and that help me figure out, what my problems are. I love the mental noting that I've learned to do from the 10% Happier app. And it's mental noting that has helped me once again recently, as I'm becoming more self-aware of myself. If that's even the right way to say it, I don't know. But one thing I noticed that I do when it comes to like anxiety is, and if anybody else is listening or watching this and is agreeing with me on this, feel free to drop a message in the comments or email me. I'm not sure how you can contact me if you're listening to this on the audio podcast. YouTube is so much easier, right? You've got the comments right there, right below the video, the comment section. Why don't audio podcasts have a comment section? Or I think they do. I know Podbean does. So wherever you're listening to this, you can leave a review, or you can email me and we can and let me know what you think about what I'm going to say. But it would help if I actually said it. But one thing that I've become aware of, and I'm trying to figure out the best way to say it, is I worry about the future. And I know that's anxiety, but it's like I think I'm psychic, but I'm not. It's just that I'm thinking something bad's going to happen, and if I think something bad's going to happen, something bad's going to happen. Or I brace for the worst. I think I used to think that was the best way to deal with stuff, was just to brace for the worst. Expect the worst. And anything else that happens is going to be great. That's a terrible strategy. You're just going to go around expecting bad things to happen all the time? I'm just going to go around expecting bad things to happen all the time. Exactly. It's pathetic. It's pathetic. But it's sort of what I noticed about myself. I just go around whenever I think something bad's going to happen. I expect the worst. I expect something bad to happen. I expect to get hit by a car while I'm walking. I just, stuff like that. I don't know if that's like that fear of death episode that I did a couple weeks ago, but this is sort of like that. But it's just something that I noticed that I keep thinking about what's going to happen, but I think about the worst thing that's going to happen. What did I just say? I just expect the worst. I expect the worst. That's what I do, and I need to stop. Now that I've become aware that I do that I've noted that I've done that I've realized that I've done that, I'm like, I have to stop doing that. So I have to learn that it's okay. I have to learn that good things are going to happen. I have to start not bracing for the worst, but bracing for the best. Bracing for the best thing to happen, and if that doesn't happen, brace for the fact that it's okay that didn't happen. I need to stop bracing for the worst, because I brace for the worst. And it's annoying. It is. It's what I became aware of myself the other day, was that I brace for the worst, and that's the worst thing to do, really, to brace for the worst, to expect the worst to happen. You shouldn't go around life expecting the worst thing to happen. I need to stop living life expecting the worst thing to happen. You have to live life expecting the best things to happen. Or you should at least not go around living your life expecting the worst things to happen. You shouldn't brace for the worst, but I brace for the worst. But thanks to meditation and mindfulness, I've been aware that I do that. So I'm going to stop doing it so much. Or at least, once I have those thoughts, be like, okay, nope, you're not doing this. You're not going to expect the worst and brace for the worst. You need to, just focus on what you're doing right now. Like, if I was walking and expecting something bad to happen. You don't know. I don't know what's going to happen until it happens. You don't know what's going to happen until it happens. So I just need to, live in the moment. And just enjoy the moment. And how do you not enjoy the moment? By bracing for the worst. It's just a stupid thing to do, bracing for the worst. I hate bracing for the worst, but it's what I do, and I've stopped doing it as much. Thankfully, I'm aware that I do it now. So the fact that I'm aware that I do it now, hopefully I won't do it as much anymore, or at all, really. I mean, you still have these thoughts, but it's how long you let thoughts dwell is the key. Don't let these, especially the negative ones, dwell. Just be like, whatever. I'm not focusing on that channel right now. And I don't want the negative channel. I don't want the bad things channel. I want to just focus on what I'm doing right now, because all you should do, instead of worrying about what happened or bracing for what's going to happen, is just live your life and focus on what's happening right now. Because right now I'm recording my podcast. That's what I'm doing. I'm trying not to think about what I'm going to do after. I don't know what I'm going to do after. Sometimes I'm afraid somebody's going to barge in the door and I'll have to record the damn podcast again. That's happened. But it happens. It's just a thing that happens. I live in fear too much, and I live in fear of being afraid of what's going to happen next. I'm afraid of what's going to happen next. And I'm sick and tired of being afraid of what's going to happen next. Because I, make decisions, and I try to think, when I try to make decisions, when I'm trying to decide something, I sort of play it out in my head to think what's going to happen. But it's fucking pointless to do that. I shouldn't make a decision based on what I think is going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen. Nothing's fucking happened yet. If I go here, will this person be there? If I go here, will this person be there? If I go here, will I do this? If I go here, if I do that, I do that stuff. I think that way. It's a stupid way to think. And a stupid way to think is bracing for the worst. And I'm sick and tired of bracing for the worst. No one should brace for the worst. I'm not saying you shouldn't brace for the worst, but you shouldn't, let it dominate your life. But I brace for the worst. And I'm aware of it now. And I'm going to fix it. Or not. I don't know. I'm just going to live my life and live in the moment as much as possible. Because that's the key. That's the key to life, is just to live in the moment. And not think about what's going to happen. It's I signed up for this online course that I'm really nervous about taking because I don't know what's going to happen. But I'm thinking in my head what's going to happen in this course. And how I'm probably going to do bad at it. But that's terrible thoughts to have. Because I don't know what's going to happen. Because I haven't tried it yet. I just need to stop worrying about what I'm going to do in a course that I haven't even started yet. Just live in the moment. Stop bracing for the worst. And your life will be a lot better. Hopefully. Thank you so much for watching and or listening to the episode today. I really appreciate it. Please be sure to let me know what you thought. And that's the bottom line if you smell what the McTaggart Attack Podcast is cooking.